I'm ready.
Good morning, everyone. We're going to pass out a sheet. We'll give a couple seconds for those to go around.
And just go ahead and flip it on the back side.
So you want to be seeing this. So as Travis is passing these out, I want you to think, who are you? Who do you want to be? Innately. Not what do you want to be, not where do you want to be, but who do you want to be at your core? What are your values? Who do you want to be seen as? In Cubby we read about someone giving a talk at your funeral. What would you want them to say? What would you want to be remembered by? I want you to think about some of those things and form those into a mission statement. It doesn't need to be long, but just a sentence describing what you want to be and who you want to be. I'm going to give you about 1 to 2 minutes to do that. Think about it. It doesn't have to be perfectly curated. It can even just be bullet points. It takes some time to list those. About 20 more seconds. Good. Now if you look directly under that text box there, you'll see long-term goals 25 plus years from now. I want you to write something out a little more practical now. This is less to do with who you are at your core, but this is where you want to be, what you want to be doing, how you want your life to end up. Take some time and write those out. This will be slightly shorter, so I'll give you about 45 seconds.
So now that you guys have at least some of your long-term goals on your papers, I want you to think about those throughout this presentation about how you're going to get there through your short-term goals. So habit 3 is about putting first things first, and that's basically about working first and then playing. So recognizing what's important to you in the moment and realizing how you're going to get there in your future. So you're spending time on things that are important and urgent to you, and you're focusing like your values at your core and what makes you you. And you need to be able to say no to things in order to get your things that want to be done for your future. You want to be able to set priorities that allow you to execute your plan. So whether that is creating a checkoff list for yourself, having a daily planner for yourself as well. It's just about how you're going to plan out your future in your daily activities.
An important part of habit 3 is the time quadrant. This time quadrant has 4 quadrants that we will go through on the sheet so you all can flip it to the other side. An important distinction for all of these quadrants is urgent versus important. Urgent relates to the here and now, or what requires immediate attention of you in this moment, in your present moment. An important category is related to the long-term goals that you've wrote on your papers and relates to the mission statement that you also wrote. So going through the first quadrant, That is the crisis quadrant, which requires rush deadlines, phone calls that come up, rush meetings and business opportunities that you have. Quadrant 2 is where in habit 3 we want to spend a majority of our time. It's called a productivity quadrant, and it involves relationship building, personal development, and planning through small goals that you set leading to your long-term goals. Quadrant 3 is the distraction quadrant, and it also involves phone calls, emails, business meetings that take away from your personal development and planning part of the time you spend in your life. And quadrant 4 relates to the waste category of the time that we spend, whether that's social media, pleasure activities. A practical example of this would be when the screen time pops up on your phone, and evaluating how that time is spent, whether it's on social media or is actually in quadrant 2, building relationships and spending time with those that you feel are a part of your mission statement and your long-term goals.
So Covey integrates this habit with 1 and 2, and 1 is about being, you are the programmer, you're the one that sets your goals for life, and 2 is about writing that program, and then 3 is about actually taking that program and putting it into action. And so a few ways of putting your goals into actions is by delegating to other people and asking for help, and it's always okay to ask for help when you're struggling. And 2 ways that he incorporates delegation is 1 is the gopher delegation style, and 2 is a stewardship delegation. And sometimes delegation can be scary for us to do because we think it takes too much time to tell someone how to do something when you feel that you can do it better yourself. But sometimes extra help can benefit you so much more than just being an individual. So gopher delegation is basically almost kind of like micromanaging, and it's giving someone a task and telling them how to do it how you want it. And it's focusing on the methods rather than on the result. So you're telling them how to do it. So it doesn't leave that much room for creativity for the person that you're delegating to. Covey describes stewardship delegation probably as a more proper way to delegate to people because it allows people to have creativity within the project that they're doing. It helps them to have more imagination about the desired results, and the results feel more of theirs because they came up with the method. And so it's mostly about the end result rather than the method style in gopher delegation, because you focus on the desired results. You're able to ask for resources, and you're allowed to keep people accountable for their actions, and there's consequences to how you do your end project. And this is a great way to incorporate people and to make them feel like they're a part of the team rather than they're told what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. And it's a great way to incorporate people.
So we're going to talk about 5 advancements of quadrant 2 individuals. So these are essentially 5 goals to strive for to get the most out of your time and the most out of your life. So firstly, you want to be principle-centered. So you see your time, your day-to-day tasks, not as boxed to be checked off, but concerned with what is important to you. That mission statement you wrote, how is your time designed to accomplish that mission statement? Secondly, you're conscience-oriented. You organize your life based on your values. Although you may have many tasks to accomplish, those tasks are accomplished through honesty, integrity, diligence, kindness, whatever is important to you, you take that mission into your daily tasks. Thirdly, you define your unique mission. We all have different goals, objectives, and gifts in our lives. Defining your unique mission can not only give you contentment, but it can also help you gain a sense of direction and purpose, so that regardless of the trajectory of your life, you know the end goal of where you want to end up. You identify your roles. This is especially important as you step into adulthood. You will likely be an employer, a husband, a wife, a father, mother, brother, sister. Put time into those roles that are important to you. Often those are the roles that hold incredible amounts of influence. And you want to allocate proper amounts of time to show the loved ones and people that you have influence over that you care. Number 5, give context to the grand scheme of life. So often in college we find ourselves living by our daily planner, what objects come up throughout this week on any given Monday through Friday. See past that. I challenge you to broaden your perspective. See where you want to end up, and see these small tasks as small building blocks in the final stepping stones of your mission statement. Now lastly, I want us to go back to the other side of our sheet. Read over your mission statement one more time, or any points that you might have made. And I want you to rewrite your short-term goals. Those would be goals from now until the end of the year. And how might those shift in light of your mission statement? I'll give you about 45 seconds to a minute to do that. More seconds. As you finish that, look next to your intermediate goals. For many of us, this requires grad school, gaining an internship, physical therapy school, athletic training, becoming a teacher. How do these goals take you to the next step to achieve your long-term goals? And how can these be put into the context of your mission statement? How does who you are at your core influence the things you do? About 20 more seconds for this. Excellent. I want to ask all of you a question. Anyone can answer. What about your short or intermediate goals changed when you looked at your mission statement? Perhaps you're looking under a microscope, seeing today or this week or this semester as the final deciding factor of your long-term goals. But how did looking at who you are at your core, or who you aim to be, shift your perspective on your short-term goals? At least one person needs to answer.
I think for me, it shifted from characteristics of who I am into things I need to do to get to where I want to be. So it's more of my mission statement is who I want to be seen as compared to goals or what I want to do.
That's great. Now, often we see ourselves, especially in college, it's easy to see ourselves as, I want to wear all of these hats, but we don't look at, I want to be this type of person. And hopefully those values get me to wear those types of hats. Anyone else?
Yeah, I felt like at first my short-term goals were like achievements or accomplishments. They were like things to be checked off the box. And then after we talked about like the mission statement, it changed into like more of like kind of just relational sort of goals. You know, so.
So as you go through not only this week, but this semester, and then into new phases of your life, keep your mission statement in mind. And mind you, this might be adapted and changed over the years, likely will. But keep that in mind as the end goal that you're striving for. Because often I don't see past whatever this semester is going to bring. But that gives us a very limited view of our realities. And I hope that you can use these goals and these habits to put first things first.